What is going on? It is Nate the Game Guy coming back with another video at hand, and today I want to talk to you guys about what I consider to be some of the most underrated collecting methods to help you build your game collection. Now, of course, right here are all different methods that I personally feel are not really talked about that much when it comes to collecting video games. You hear a lot of people talking about finding games at thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, all that wonderful stuff, but I really feel with what I'm about to mention right here in this video, it's just not really talked about enough. Of course, with these methods right here, some of these methods are going to save you more money when compared to others, but what I can truthfully say is that I have utilized all these methods that I'm about to talk about right here in this video. So without further ado, let's dive right into this video subject and take a look at some methods that just frankly I consider to be not really talked about that much when it comes to the game collecting community as a whole, right after the intro. So I'm going to start this video off right here by talking about this method, and that is getting games where it's just the case and the manual, or sometimes the box and the manual, but either the cartridge or the disc inside is just missing. So what do I mean by this? I've been to some times where there have been garage sales in my area, and I've even been to different places where either they're local game stores, where they're just throwing out a bunch of cases, where it does come with the manual, there's just no disc inside, or sometimes I've been to a couple places where I just find just that, just the box and the manual, and game is missing. So I'll give a great example right here. I one time went to my public library once, and I found a copy of Soul Calibur 2 for GameCube. Now, it had the case and the manual, but it was very unfortunate that inside the disc was missing. And even though the case was $1 and everything else, I decided to pick it up anyway is because here is the kicker right here. When you get these boxes and cases and all that stuff, either at a really steep discount or preferably free with some game stores that I've talked to before in the past in my local area, where sometimes they have given me cases and manuals for free that they're just throwing away. They have really no use for them. They don't really have any value to them. And I will get these boxes and cases and manuals for free because I will be able to then buy disc-only copies either online or at another game store, where sometimes I will be paying significantly less for that game just because I'll be going for a disc-only copy instead of a complete and box copy. I've had the opportunity to utilize this strategy at my public library before. I've been to a Craigslist pickup several years ago where a guy was just throwing out a bunch of stuff free from his garage. He just wanted to clear stuff out. He didn't really care about the value. He was just moving. He wanted the stuff gone, and I was able to find some PSP games and some original Xbox games and different miscellaneous games where, you know, either the cartridge or the disc inside was missing, but, you know, I was able to get those for free, and now I can find those games for significantly less when trying to build up my collection. It's a great strategy to consider if for whatever reason you've just passed over manuals and cases where, you know, the game's missing, but, you know, everything else is included. I would still say pick them up, because then you can buy a disc-only copy online and then get complete and box copies added to your collection for significantly less. Now, another favorite strategy of mine that I consider to be very underrated when it comes to collecting games is using Swagbucks. So what is Swagbucks? Swagbucks is a website where you will be able to complete different tasks, whether they are surveys or you are downloading a game and trying to get up to a certain level, or my personal favorite method is, you know, you have the Google extension to Chrome or whatever, And sometimes, even if you don't have the extension like installed, you can go to the website and you will see that there are different stores that you can go to, whether they're Best Buy, Home Depot, Walmart, eBay, JCPenney, right? And I will do, if case for whatever reason I need some grocery shopping done through Walmart, or sometimes I need to get like a new, I don't know, sink replaced or whatever with Home Depot, I will then go to Home Depot on the website, click it, and then it will then direct me over to Home Depot. And then when I spend, say if it's giving me 2% cash back if I make a purchase through Home Depot. If I make $100 purchase, I will be getting $2 back in points. Those points will then be added to my account, and then I can redeem those points for gift cards to places such as eBay, Amazon, Target, Walmart, all those different places. And I have saved a lot of money over the years doing just that, where sometimes I've bought cheap games with those gift cards, or sometimes I've saved up a bunch of gift cards and I've bought some really expensive and rare games doing just that. If for whatever reason you just haven't signed up for Swagbucks yet, I strongly recommend that you do so. I'm going to leave an affiliate link in the description down below where you guys will be able to get an extra bonus if you do use my affiliate link. So that way it will help you off to a good start in getting some points and, of course, getting some of those games added to your collection. Now, with this strategy right here, I only recommend it to people who are very financially responsible, people who do not impulse buy, people who are able to keep track of what's going in and out with their expenses, people that have good self-control. If for whatever reason you don't really consider yourself to be financially responsible with some of those categories, I don't recommend using this method right here. Clearly, this is not going to be professional financial advice, but one of my favorite collecting strategies to building up the collection is using credit cards that offer cashback rewards. I have a credit card with Wells Fargo where it gives me 2% cash back. So if I make a $100 purchase, either shopping online or at a game store, whatever, I'll get $2 back. And then I will be able to use those points either to pay down my credit card balance, or I'll get some extra money that I'll be able to use to chip in to buy some games. And another favorite thing that I love to use with these credit cards, and don't worry, with these rewards programs that I'm mentioning right here, you don't necessarily have to have the Wells Fargo 2% cashback card. But what is nice is that sometimes every quarter, or sometimes there will be different offers depending on which credit card that you use. There will be different little promotions. So for example, like if you sometimes shop at like JCPenney or whatever, or if you eat out at El Pollo Loco, sometimes you will see under certain deals with Chase or Wells Fargo, sometimes Wells Fargo will say, hey, we'll give you 10% cash back if you shop in store with Amazon Fresh. So again, I will be utilizing that, of course, not completely going out of my way to do some of these offers, but if I happen to eat at a certain restaurant that I like to frequent and it offers me a certain percentage of cash back, obviously I will activate that offer and pay for it with my card. And then when I get that cash back, I will just use that cash back to purchase more games. Now, of course, you're not going to be getting a ton of money like in the beginning, but in the long run, it might save you quite a bit if you are very strategic with how you use that card. And after all, I've certainly saved a lot of money over the years doing that, and I have to say it's worked out pretty well with building my personal game collection. Now, if you want to talk about some underrated collecting strategies, I think you can look no further than this one right here. And that is, when you go to garage sales, don't just look for video games. Also look for other things as well. So what do I mean by this? A lot of game collectors will go to yard sales to either buy games to add to their collection for cheap or buy games to flip online and then use the profit to help fund their collection. Now, let me give you a personal story of mine. Several years ago, I went to a yard sale where a guy was going to sell a bunch of PS4 games. I got up really early, but unfortunately, the early birds beat me. Now, thankfully, when I spoke to the guy that was hosting the garage sale, he just said that he was mostly selling a bunch of sports games for PS4, which I didn't mind at all because they were going to be cheap eventually one day anyway. So what I did, so that way I would feel like I didn't waste my time at the garage sale trying to get up early and all that, I tried to look for other things that were valuable. Now, of course, this was before competition on eBay got as crazy as it is now, but I found some hoodies, some sweatshirts, jeans, and other different things where it was really cheap, and I was very thankful and very pleasantly surprised with the fact that even though they didn't all sell right away, they all sold. I made a profit on every single item, and of course, that profit was used to help fund the collection. Now, of course, I'm not going to talk about other valuable things that you could find at yard sales because there are already a ton of YouTubers that talk about just that. But what I will talk about is the fact that if for whatever reason you go to a yard sale and they just don't have video games, either because you go to one, they just aren't selling them in general anyway, or somebody beat you to the games, look for other things that are valuable to sell, so that way you can recoup some of your time, so that way it isn't a complete loss and you are able to still build your collection efficiently and at least have yourself a better time when trying to build up those collections. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out my video. Please be sure to check out these videos here, here, and here. After all, I post a lot of content when it comes to game collecting tips, and other video game related subjects. So be sure to keep an eye out every Monday and Friday where I upload consistently, and I'll be seeing you guys next time.